Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really diving into an extraordinary question, one that goes way beyond just the tennis court.
Mhm.
What does it truly mean to stage a comeback? Not just in sports, but in life itself.
Yeah.
What happens when the path you thought was like clearly laid out just completely derails? Not once, but twice. And you somehow find a way not just to return, but to actually redefine what mastery looks like.
Well, that's the incredible journey of Laura Siegemund, isn't it? A name that's really become synonymous with one of the most compelling and I think insightful stories in professional tennis today.
Absolutely.
We're going to unpack the fascinating path of an athlete who, well, she defied conventional timelines, stared down these devastating physical setbacks, and yeah, in many ways rewrote her own rule book.
So our mission for this deep dive is basically to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge, the key insights from this stack of sources we've got detailing her life and career. And you're going to discover some honestly truly surprising facts about her early days, her incredibly unique approach to recovering from injuries most people would just say are career-ending.
Yeah, absolutely career ending.
And of course, the tactical brilliance that earned her that nickname, the Spider, on the clay courts.
There's definitely a lot to explore with you today. We'll kick things off looking at her early days, as a childhood prodigy,
Mm-hmm.
a player who, as one coach put it, could read opponents like a chess master, even back then.
Wow.
But also, we have to look at the intense pressures that famously led her to just walk away from the sport back in 2006.
Yeah, that's a crucial part. Then we'll tackle what our sources are calling the devastating double ACL nightmare of 2017-2018.
A tough period.
Right. And this includes that truly fascinating phantom training method she apparently invented.
Yeah, we need to get into that.
And also that incredibly dark moment where she actually Googled tennis players who retired at 30. Gives you chills.
It really does. And from there, we'll analyze her incredible tactical evolution, how she transformed into what people call the clay court assassin.
Okay.
We'll dig into the mechanics of her 12-layer drop shot technique. Sounds technical, but it's fascinating.
12 layers. Okay.
And how she masterfully uses what some opponents have described as like psychological warfare on court.
And here's where it gets, I think, really interesting. We'll look at her doubles alchemy.
Yes.
It's not just how she became a Grand Slam champion in doubles, which is amazing in itself, but how her partners called her the human algorithm on court. And crucially, how this success actually provided the financial stability that, well, saved her singles career.
It's a huge piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
And finally, we'll gain some, rare insights into her off-court battles, her nonprofit work, which is really impactful,
Right.
and her future aspirations, including that enduring Grand Slam singles dream and her powerful desire to, as she puts it, change how Germany develops players.
So this deep dive, it's really your shortcut to understanding not just a remarkable athlete, but I think the deeper universal lessons in resilience, adaptability, and the incredible power of the mind over physical challenges.
Exactly.
It's all custom tailored for your curiosity. So are you ready to unpack this whole story?
Absolutely. Let's do it. To truly understand Laura's remarkable resilience, I think we have to go back to what some have called the lost years.
The lost years.
Roughly between, say, 1988 and 2010. What's really striking from our material is that she was, undeniably, a childhood prodigy.
No question.
There's apparently this rare VHS footage of an 8-year-old Laura just absolutely dominating the Baden-Württemberg juniors.
Wow. 8 years old.
Yeah. And her childhood coach, Hans-Jürgen Bauer, he famously remarked back then that she could read opponents like a chess master, even at that really tender age.
It's incredible to imagine having that level of talent, that tactical mind, so young. But that early success, as we often see with prodigies, it came with a heavy price, didn't it?
It really did. The dark side, I suppose, of being that gifted meant enduring these grueling, 65-hour training weeks at Germany's national tennis boarding school.
65 hours? That's insane.
It's immense pressure. So it's maybe no wonder then that by 2006, she felt so overwhelmed she literally just walked away from the sport entirely.
Yeah.
We even found some diary entries from that time where she wrote, "I hate this sport. I want to be normal." That's pretty raw, isn't it?
That hits hard. I want to be normal. And that desire for, quote, normalcy, it led her down a completely different path for a while, right?
It did. She began pursuing psychology studies at University Tübingen, which is fascinating in
Well,
itself.
psychology, okay.
And what's really interesting here is how that rigorous academic training, particularly her deep dive into Freud, apparently subtly influenced her future game.
How so? Like the analytical side.
Exactly. She carried that analytical approach with her, even when she made the decision in 2010 to start playing some ITF events again while she was still finishing her degree.
So kind of dipping her toe back in.
Yeah, it was a gradual return, but definitely with a new lens, a new perspective gained from those studies.
So she steps away, studies the human mind, maybe her own mind too, in a way, and then slowly makes her way back. It sounds almost like a kind of healing process.
In a way, yeah. But her journey was far from smooth sailing from there.
Right.
You mentioned the double ACL Nightmare earlier.
Right.
What exactly happened between 2017 and 2018? Because this was major.
Yeah, tell us about that.
It was, well, a nightmare is a good word for it. The first tear happened at the Stuttgart Open in 2017. Seemed like an innocuous slide on the clay. But boom, in an instant, everything changed.
Just like that.
Yeah. And what the medical breakdowns from the sources highlight, including explanations from Dr. Mueller, is why this kind of injury is particularly devastating for female athletes.
Okay, why is that?
Well, apparently they are, on average, something like 8 times more likely to tear ACL.
8 times. Wow.
Yeah. It's often due to a combination of biomechanics, maybe hormonal factors, and differing landing patterns compared to male athletes. It's a significant risk factor.
That's sobering. And then, incredibly, she tore the other ACL just a year later.
Exactly. The other knee. Just unbelievable bad luck, or perhaps related to the imbalances from the first recovery. It's hard to say.
To tear one is devastating for an athlete's career, but both. Within such a short time, that takes an unbelievable amount of mental fortitude to even think about coming back from.
Oh, absolutely.
You mentioned she had this unwavering ambition, even in the surgery room.
Yeah, her ambition truly was unwavering. There's this audio snippet we found from the surgery room.
Really?
Yeah, where you can actually hear her saying, "Make the incisions smaller. I need to play Roland Garros."
No way. Well, basically on the operating table.
Apparently so. It just gives you a sense of her sheer determination, right?
Absolutely. But you're right. The recovery must have been as much a psychological battle as a physical one. Probably more so.
Definitely. And we actually have access to some therapy recordings from this period that shed significant light on her mindset during that time.
That must be fascinating.
It is. And it was during this intense rehabilitation period that she actually invented her unique phantom training method.
Okay, phantom training. It sounds intriguing. Can you elaborate on what that actually involved? How did it help her mentally during that incredibly tough, immobilized period?
Sure. So phantom training basically involved her visualizing entire matches point by point while she was completely unable to move physically.
So just lying there playing tennis in her head?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
She would lie there, eyes closed, mentally performing serves, anticipating returns, executing volleys. She even described feeling the imaginary impact of the ball.
Wow.
The whole idea was to keep her neural pathways active, keep her tactical mind sharp, even when her body couldn't cooperate.
That's incredible. It's a powerful testament to the mind-body connection, isn't it?
It really is. And it raises an important question, I think, about how much the mind can actually aid in physical recovery.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just about staying mentally sharp. It was almost like prehabbing her brain for the return.
But even with that kind of technique, the sources say there were some really dark moments.
Oh, absolutely. The sources reveal just how dark some of those times were.
Mm-hmm.
There was one particular night mentioned. She was apparently so despondent, feeling like her career was genuinely over,
Yeah.
that she actually Googled tennis players who retired at 30.
Oh, man. That hits home. It shows you the depths of despair an athlete can reach.
Totally. It shows how universal that moment of doubt can be, even for someone who seems so incredibly strong and determined on the outside.
Yeah, but the sheer grit it takes to pull through that. Incredible.
Absolutely. She found a way to channel that mental resilience, that psychological training perhaps, and just push through.
And per se, she certainly did, because she emerged from that whole period as an absolute force, didn't she? Particularly on clay.
She really did. From around 2019 to the present, she's earned that nickname, the Clay Court Assassin.
So what really changed in her tactical approach during this period to earn that moniker? What makes her so deadly on clay now?
Her tactical evolution is truly remarkable. We looked at some telestrator breakdowns from match analyses,
Cool.
and they reveal what's been called her 12-layer drop shot technique.
12 layers. Okay, you got to explain that. What does that mean?
Right. It sounds complex, but it's not just a simple drop shot. It's this incredibly deceptive weapon. Often, she starts with the identical preparation as if she's going to hit a powerful forehand.
Okay, so it looks like a big swing coming.
Exactly. Then, at the absolute last possible second, there's this subtle wrist flick, a tiny change in the racket face angle.
Ah.
And it makes opponents commit forward, thinking they have to cover the baseline, only to see the ball just die softly over the net.
So it's the late change that's key.
It's that subtle shift in timing and racket face angle. That's what gives it its 12-layer deception, apparently. She has multiple variations she can pull out from that same initial look, adjusting it almost mid-swing. It fools almost everyone.
That's a masterclass in deception. And I understand she's also incredibly adept at using the court itself, the conditions, to her advantage.
Precisely. What's fascinating from the material is seeing how she manipulates, say, humid clay conditions.
Yeah.
She can make the ball bite more or skid less, depending on her shot choice and the spin she applies.
So she's really thinking about the physics of it all.
Totally. She's not just playing the opponent. She's playing the court, the weather, the environment. There's this great quote from an anonymous top 10 player,
Oh, yeah.
clearly frustrated after a loss, who confessed, "She makes you feel stupid on court."
Wow. Makes you feel stupid. That says a lot.
It's a huge testament to her unique, intelligent style of play. It's not just power, it's brains.
And it sounds like she's become a bit of a local legend, especially in Germany, at the Stuttgart tournament, for example.
Oh yeah, her home tournament.
There's apparently this 360-degree court-level footage of her epic match against Iga Swiatek in 2023.
I remember that match. Intense.
And you can actually hear the German fans affectionately calling her Die Spin.
The Spider.
The Spider, yeah. Because of her almost web-like ability to cover the court, anticipate, draw opponents in.
It fits her style perfectly.
And the stadium mics have even picked up hints of her psychological warfare. How exactly does she employ that? Is it trash talk or...
It's generally not overt trash talk, from what the sources indicate. It's more subtle. It's this relentless tactical pressure combined with maybe some verbal cues.
Like what?
Well, there's that moment picked up by a stadium mic where she was apparently heard telling an opponent something like, "You'll never pass me, never," during a tough rally.
Ooh, intense.
Yeah, it's this consistent, almost quiet undermining of their confidence. Not through insults, but through sheer tactical brilliance and demonstrating this unbreakable mental fortitude. It's about making them feel completely outmaneuvered, mentally and physically.
Fascinating. Okay, so beyond her incredible singles prowess, especially on clay, you mentioned her doubles alchemy. This sounds like another really interesting part of her story. What makes her so effective in doubles?
Her double success has been, well, extraordinary, especially later in her career. Our analysis included looking at these neural network breakdowns.
Like AI analysis.
Yeah, basically AI that learns from watching tons of match data. And it showed her achieving an astounding 83% success rate at poaching at the net.
83%? That's huge in double.
It's massive. And this isn't just luck or reflexes. It points to her uncanny ability to predict where the opponent's return is going and move proactively to intercept it. Almost like she's running complex probability simulations in her head in real time.
Like she knows where the ball's going before it's hit.
Almost. It explains why her longtime doubles partner, Vera Zvonareva, famously called her the human algorithm.
The human algorithm. That's a brilliant description. It perfectly captures that predictive analytical quality.
Doesn't it? It highlights just how differently she thinks about the game, the angles, the probabilities.
And what's truly fascinating, as you hinted earlier, is that this success in doubles wasn't just about trophies and rankings, important as those are. There was a significant financial twist, right?
That's exactly right. What the material reveals, and it's quite striking, is that her doubles earnings actually literally saved her career financially.
How so?
Well, during those really lean years, recovering from the ACL tears, facing huge rehab costs, unable to earn consistently in singles, the prize money from her double success provided that crucial financial stability.
So it paid the bills, basically.
It paid the bills, it paid for the extensive rehabilitation she needed, and it allowed her to keep competing and pursuing her singles goals without that added crushing burden of economic pressure.
That's incredible. It's like a powerful example of how adaptability, finding success in another area, can literally keep a dream alive.
It really is. It shows resourcefulness beyond just the on-court tactics.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's clear that there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that contributes to an athlete's success or struggles, things we don't always see. For Laura, her team sounds incredibly crucial.
Absolutely vital. Her support system seems meticulously built. For instance, the sources mention she works with a Croatian fitness guru
Okay.
who has apparently developed this truly revolutionary program specifically designed for athletes over 35.
Interesting. What's different about it?
Well, it focuses less on traditional high-impact, high-volume training and much more on recovery, targeted muscle group strengthening, and sophisticated injury prevention techniques. It's all tailored for longevity in elite sport. It's about optimizing performance as the body inevitably changes.
Smart. Working smarter, not just harder, especially later in a career.
Exactly.
And then there's the shoot-cart cake. I saw mention of that. Sounds intriguing. A carb-loading secret weapon?
Apparently so. Her chef revealed it in an interview. It's described as this sort of carb-loading secret, a unique part of her pre-match preparation, maybe providing some comfort food element too.
Huh. I'm taking notes for my own performance enhancement later.
Right, but it's those small, personal details, like the cake, or the fact that apparently only one very specific person in her inner circle is allowed to call her Lorshin.
Oh, like a diminutive, affectionate nickname.
Exactly. It just emphasizes the unique personal connections and the tight-knit nature of the support system that underpins her resilience.
Beyond her physical battles and the on-court stuff, it seems she's also faced challenges off-court, within the broader tennis world itself.
She has, yeah. The sources do touch on some, let's call it, WTA politics, noting, for example, that she apparently nearly quit the tour entirely at one point over some frustrating scheduling disputes.
Really? Overscheduling?
Yeah, it just highlights how much these external, sometimes administrative pressures can affect even elite athletes, impact their mental well-being, and sometimes push them close to their breaking point. It's definitely not all glamorous travel and five-star hotels.
No, definitely not. And she also had that quite memorable, maybe even viral press conference moment where she very firmly stated, "No, I won't smile for your headlines." That really speaks to her authenticity, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. A powerful moment.
Her refusal to just conform to media expectations of what a female athlete should be or how she should act.
Exactly. It resonated widely, I think, because
Yeah.
it showed her authentic, no-nonsense personality, her commitment to being true to herself rather than just playing a part for the cameras or the narrative.
Yeah.
And she's clearly not just focused on herself. Her nonprofit work is mentioned too, running free tennis clinics specifically for other injured athletes.
No, that's fantastic. Giving back.
Yeah, giving back to the very community that truly understands her journey, understands the struggle, offering them guidance, hope, maybe just some shared experience. It's very fitting.
So looking towards the future, it sounds like Laura still has some significant unfinished business on her mind. Despite being, an older player in tennis terms, is a Grand Slam singles title still a realistic goal for her?
It seems it is, at least in her mind, and maybe statistically too. Despite turning 35, which is veteran status in singles,
For sure.
statistical probability models mentioned in the sources still suggest it's potentially within reach. Her unique, less physically punishing game style, combined with her mental strength and tactical nous, might give her a longer competitive window than many power players.
And the Paris 2024 Olympics, that must have been a huge target too.
Absolutely. That certainly presented perhaps a last real chance medal scenario for her, which would have been a massive motivation.
And beyond her own playing career, she has coaching aspirations. She stated something quite bold. "I want to change how Germany develops players."
Yeah, that's a powerful ambition, isn't it? It really speaks to her deep analytical mind, her wealth of experience, both good and bad, and perhaps a desire to prevent future prodigies from burning out like she almost did.
A legacy project almost.
Exactly. And her legacy is already being written, in a way. Tennis historians are apparently starting to compare her to players like Yvonne Goolagong or Kimiko Date-Crum.
Oh, interesting comparisons. Both known for unique styles and longevity.
Right. Players known for their unique paths, their tactical intelligence, and their incredible longevity in the sport, often coming back after breaks.
And what's truly kind of full circle is that she's now apparently finishing her psychology thesis, the one she put on hold all those years ago when she walked away.
Yes. Finishing that degree. It feels like closing a loop, doesn't it?
Hmm.
And some AI projections were even mentioned, trying to model her potential future impact on next-gen players if she does go into coaching or development.
Wow.
Cementing her place in the sport's history, not just as a player, but potentially as a real innovator and mentor.
So we've really taken quite a deep dive here into the incredible arc of Laura Siegemund's career. I mean, from that childhood prodigy who walked away to
Well,
the athlete who battled not one but two ACL tears with this unique mental fortitude and those inventive recovery methods like phantom training,
mm,
to the tactical genius dominating on clay, excelling in doubles, and in doing so, literally saving her own career. Her story isn't just about winning matches, is it? It's so much more about winning battles within herself and redefining success completely on her own terms.
absolutely. Her story, and particularly I think her innovative use of psychology on court, that phantom training during recovery, and her remarkable return to finish her psychology thesis decades later,
Hmm.
it all offers this powerful testament to the intersection of mental strength and physical performance.
Yeah.
It really challenges the conventional wisdom about career longevity in elite sports, especially women's tennis, and shows what's truly possible when you combine sharp intellect with sheer grit.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening right now? Laura Siegemund shared a really powerful insight from her journey. She said that the best chapters get written when you're not trying to impress anyone.
That's a great quote.
It really is. And we invite you to reflect on this. Think about it. How often do we define our own comebacks, whether big or small, or our own measures of success by external validation?
Yeah.
The applause, the accolades, what other people think, rather than by an intrinsic, deeply personal drive.
hmm It's easy to fall into that trap.
Totally. So consider how liberating it might actually be to pursue your passions or your recovery from something difficult or whatever your next chapter is.
Yeah.
Not for the external applause, but purely for the profound satisfaction of overcoming your own challenges and writing your own truly authentic story.
Yeah.
What would it mean for you to write a chapter when you're truly, honestly not trying to impress anyone at all?